The local bourse closed firmer yesterday, tracking European and US markets that cast aside fears of sustained inflation, supply chain breakdowns, and the US approaching its debt limit. Now, today, the JSE is expected to trade higher, taking its cue from the global markets, which showed signs of stability after a bumpy month. Chief Investment Officer at Makwe Fund Managers, Makwe Masilela, joins us now to talk us through how the markets are developing this morning. Give us a sense, Dr. Masilela, how the markets have opened in early trade, with some analysts noting that the JSE will likely have its worst monthly decline since October 2020.
Very possible, and good morning to you. But yes, as you said, we just managed to open marginally up, just like our European counterparts, doing the opposite of what happened in Asia overnight. Reason being, we are right, we managed to deal with the inflation issues, because yesterday we had the US Federal Chairperson, the European Central Bank as well, Bank of Japan, Bank of the UK, all saying, yes, inflation is up, but it should be temporary. But this morning we are struggling to deal with the issue when it comes to Chinese manufacturing activity, as they dipped for the first time since the pandemic, and that's a sign showing you that the current electricity crisis, they've got a serious impact on that economy, which anyway has been struggling. So yes, we are just marginally up, just like our European counterparts.
Yeah, let's talk about South Africa's private sector credit, which grew by 1.12% year-on-year in August of 2021. Take us through that data, but importantly, the significance.
It's very encouraging, and we can also see that when it comes to the bank results, the earnings thereof, that you can see that there's a little bit of an uptake when it comes to credit extension, and because people are starting now to see that they have to continue to spend money and have access to the lenders to be able to what needs to be done. But we know that for our economy, the importance of this, for any economy to grow, you need people to spend, and we know most people to be able to spend, we cannot be able to do that just only from our salaries and wages. We need to have access to credit, and also for businesses as well to grow, they need to have access to that kind of credit. So it's very encouraging to see that at least it's gradually picking up. And the most important thing, as long as we spend that credit on durable goods, not on the immediate needs that we have, like food, stuff like that, then that will be okay for our economy going forward.
Yeah, let's talk company news. Capitec's headline earnings increasing by 513%. That's just over 3 billion over the first 6 months, ending August of 2021. Talk us through that performance.
Also, if you look at their profit before tax, up over 800%, and all because the guys, when it comes to the digital offering, it has been expanding. Also, there's been a very strong growth when it comes to consumer demand, and the likes of Capitec managed to take advantage of the lockdown restrictions, and they started to become very innovative. That helped them out going forward. And also their credit extension looks very decent, but it just generally shows you that the banking sector is starting to recover well, and they also decided to declare an interim dividend of 1,200 cents per share. Remember, last year they were asked by the Reserve Bank not to declare any dividends.
Let's finally speak about the International Food Service Group. That's Bidcor's headline earnings per share from the operations increasing by 21.8%. Take us through that company's performance.
Not too bad. Remember, this is the company that was spun off from Bidvest in 2016. And yes, it's an international food services company, but you look at their revenues, they're down almost 4.8%. And yes, the company feels that, listen, going forward, people still want to socialize, so they're optimistic that things should start working okay for them as soon as people get the necessary vaccination. But the guys are still digesting that fraud cost that came from the Chinese unit of almost 694 million rands.
Makwe Masilela, thank you very much for that market update. He is Chief Investment Officer at Makwe Fund Managers.